Want to learn more about Samsung? Today we're looking at the ducted CAC air handler. I'm going to be showing you how I use a meter and how I use a resistance table to check the BLDC indoor fan motor of this unit. We're going to be talking about the thermal fuse diagnosis. We're also going to be going over the main PBA, what you need to know as far as the EEPROM and the sub PBA. Today, I want you guys to learn more about Samsung so that you're more prepared in the field to diagnose these units. And also, if you guys want to skip ahead and just see me using the meter and checking the motor with the resistance tables, I encourage you skip ahead around 3 minutes and you'll be able to see that. You're watching Tips for Technicians. I am Tad. Let's get started. So this unit uses a wired controller, and that wired controller has F3 and F4. That communication is powered by the indoor board, and that thermostat is what controls this unit. We're going to move forward and talk about the thermal fuse that is located below the terminal block of the indoor unit. And now that thermal fuse is a protection device to eliminate the potential of overheating, which could cause a fire. A loose wire connection on a terminal block can create overheating. When the thermal fuse activates or opens, power is terminated. And in this case, when I got to the job, the wired controller was blank and there was no lights on the indoor board, and that's what had happened. You're going to check continuity through the fuse. It's either going to be open or closed. Thermal fuse open, there's going to be no 12 volts DC to the PBA. Replace the terminal block. You check thermal fuse for secure connections to PCB. So you're going to take and unplug the wire there, and you're going to be able to check and see if this fuse is open using your continuity on your meter. All right, now let's move forward. The PBA, the main board. This board has a little brown board, and that's called an EEPROM, and it stores data. And then there's another board, and it's a little green board, and it's called the sub PBA, also commonly referred to as a communication board. Now, these boards are super important. When I actually got the indoor PBA replaced, and the thermal block and then the fan motor, the unit did not come on. There was no lights. And I found out that because the old EEPROM and the sub PBA were programmed, they had the information that was required for the unit to run, I had to actually take the old boards and install them on the new PBA. Otherwise, the unit would not operate. This is something that you might run into in the field, and I want you to know so that you're better prepared. Now, I took the fan motor out, and I had the white Molex plug, and I was able to take and measure from the black wire to each wire to get the resistance readings that I needed for the windings. The black wire is your common wire for the fan motor. So you're going to take and use your black lead to measure each of the remaining wires to the black common wire of the motor as shown in your fan motor ohm chart. I'm going to show you that fan motor ohm chart. We're going to get to the real checks, but I wanted you guys to know that information before I move forward. Let's take a look at the live readings. And if you guys have any more questions, you like this video, definitely hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, share my videos. And if you want to support me, you thought this was good information, you thought this was worth $1, go check out my Patreon. The link is in the description, guys. Thanks for watching. I'll keep you cool if you let me. Today we're going to use a fan motor resistance table, and we're going to use our meter, and using ohms we're going to check the windings of this indoor fan motor. Now this fan motor is double shaft. It had 2 blower wheels, 1 on each side, and it's used in a ducted Samsung air handler. Now we're going to look at the number on the motor. It's going to say DB310057B. Then we're going to check out the resistance chart where we find the motor number 00357B, and it tells us from black to red, black to white, black to yellow, and black to blue what our resistance should be. You need to make sure that you get the right leads. I don't have to use the really small, thin lead. I can use a little bit bigger because I took the piece out of the Molex that is in the way for you to be able to slide your meter lead inside of that Molex plug, and that's right here. I'm going to show you. I had to take this little piece out, but I'll be able to fit it in there. All right, let's make some checks. I'm going to show you guys how this motor was bad, and then we're going to talk about the main PBA inside the unit, which is this right here. We're going to talk about a couple different things you need to know when you change a main board in a Samsung indoor unit like this. All right, so let's get my meter. Meter is right here so you can see it. Resistance chart. Let's back this up. Resistance chart's right there so you can see that. All right, we're going to check black to red first. All right, here we go. There's black and then red. Black to red, 23. 23. And you see right there, it should be 3 to 8, right? All right, now let's check from black to white. All right, there's white and then black. See that right there? We're checking from white to black. What's it have? Oh wow, we're at 100 and black to white, we're at 128. Still going down, but 126. But it says 4 to 15 kilo ohms. All right, so definitely way off. All right, black to yellow. There's a yellow and black. Now let's see what we got. 110. All right, we need 235 to 260, so that's way off. All right, now we're going to check from blue to black. All right, here we go. Blue to black. All right, got our meter leads ready to go on blue and black. And what do we got? Nothing. So I would say this is definitely not reading properly as far as the motor windings compared to the resistance chart. This motor is definitely bad. It needs to be replaced. Let's talk about the main board in the indoor unit. What you need to know when you go to replace this. This is where the plug for the indoor motor is placed on this board right there, okay? And this board powers the indoor motor, and there is a communication board on here, all right? This right here, this is the communication board. And then you have an EEPROM, and an EEPROM stores data, okay? When you replace this board, your new board will come with an EEPROM like this, okay? And a communication board like this. You need to make sure that if you put a new board on an indoor unit made by Samsung and you don't have any lights, because there should be a little LED that lights up when this board is powered. If you don't have any lights, you need to make sure that your old board that had your communication board on it and your EEPROM, you need to make sure that you put those back into your new board, okay? Your old EEPROM, your old communication board may need to be put into your new board. I had an issue where when I replaced the board and this motor, the unit did not come back on. And all I had to do was get the old EEPROM and the old communication board onto the new board, and the unit was lighting up and it was working. The board was lit up after I replaced the communication and EEPROM, and then it worked. So just a food for thought. This is just some information to try to help you in the field.